Hey guys, so first of all I just want to say sorry because I know it's been a while since I made a video and one of my New Year's resolutions was to be more consistent in my video making, but that is not going well. But I'm still working on it, so it's okay. Secondly, which is just going to be the whole end of this video, I wanted to talk about Legend of Korra and how great the finale was. Now if you don't watch Legend of Korra, it doesn't really matter for this video because I'm just going to be talking about the representation in it and how great it is, so you can totally stay tuned and just keep watching it. But if you have not watched the finale yet and you are planning on it, this does have spoilers in it, so maybe you should just watch that first and then come back to this. So in case you don't already know, which I find very unlikely because at least on the sides of the internet that I go on, it was all over when the finale came out, so I already knew before I watched it what was going to happen. But in case you don't, Korra and Asami, who are two main characters who happen to be women, are bisexual at the end. It was confirmed by the writers officially, and they show them together at the end, and it basically just made my whole life. And I just want to talk about why it's so important that that happened. So like, we don't get a lot of bisexual representation or even like queer representation in general in most TV shows, especially not children's TV shows. So when you have two main characters of a popular children's TV show ending up being bisexual at the end, and being together in a relationship between two women, that's kind of awesome, like really awesome. And I just think it's so important to have this kind of representation in children's TV shows, because if you have a questioning kid who just doesn't really know how they should feel about their sexuality, and then they see queer characters on TV, they're gonna think it's okay, which is so good because then they can accept themselves. So basically, to give you a little recap of what happens at the end, Korra and Asami are talking, and then they say, hey, let's go on a vacation, and they walk to the light vortex thing to the spirit world, and they hold each other's hands, look lovingly into each other's eyes, and then as they're fading out, the camera pans up to the sky, which is almost exactly what happened in the Avatar Last Airbender show with Katara and Aang, who ended up being in a relationship together, except they kissed at the end in that show because they were male and female. So it was pretty much a big indication that they were in fact in a romantic relationship, because that's what happened with a couple at the end of the last show. But you can complain that it is a little too ambiguous because they didn't kiss, but there's still an upside from that. Still an upside. So even if there are some younger kids who don't really take it as a bisexual relationship between Korra and Asami, what they're seeing is two girls who are friends, incorrectly, and they go off together with no boyfriends. And that's how the show ends. So like, this is super great in and of itself, but it's also a bonus that the demographic for Legend of Korra is spread out among all genders. Like, I've never met anyone who was embarrassed to like Avatar shows just because of their gender. So basically, there are tons, like a huge percentage of young boys who watch the show who see two strong, independent, beautiful, wonderful, successful women getting together at the end and riding off into the spirit world light without any boyfriends. Korra and Mako just established that they just have a friendship, and that's it, and that's great. Asami is not having anyone's flirting, unless it's Korra's, and they are totally fine with that, and they are completely whole and completely concluded at the end without these boys. And for young boys to see that is very important, because they need to grasp the fact that women are complete without them. That women do not need them to ride up on their white horse and sweep them off their feet and take them into the sunset. They don't need that, and it doesn't complete a woman to have that happen to her, because she's a woman by herself. She's completely fine by herself, and that's exactly what Korra and Asami did, even if they weren't in a bisexual relationship. So young boys are gonna see that, and maybe hopefully realize that they are not the most important thing in a woman's life, and that women don't need them. So no matter which interpretation people take of the show, there's always a perk on every single angle, because there was nothing wrong with this ending. It was just perfect. So young queer or questioning kids are gonna see bisexuals, and not only is it validating bisexuality as a legitimate sexuality, but it's also going to help anyone, really, who is not straight, accept themselves, which is alone wonderful. Or they're going to see two women just doing their thing without guys. Also great. Just this one bit of the finale made me feel so hopeful for children's TV because they got away with doing this. And maybe it's because they didn't show it on TV because the last book ended up just being online. But it's a start, it's a step forward, and it's a whole lot better than just not including any bisexuals or any independent women or anything in any children's TV, because we need to start getting down to the reality and realizing that not everyone's straight, and realizing that women don't need men to complete themselves, and just including more groups of minorities. And that's exactly what Avatar shows have been doing from the beginning, with basically no white people in them at all, because we have enough of that on every other channel. And now they're including not just queer characters, but queer characters who have a very stigmatized sexuality. So yeah, I just want to talk about how fucking fantastic this show is and how grateful I am for the writers and the creators and whoever just let this happen. Thanks. And I hope you give this show a shot if you haven't already watched it, because it's worth it. Just even disregarding this stuff, it's a fantastic show. It really is. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time I make a video. Bye. So like my second favorite thing about this episode, that is right after the bisexual representation, was them bringing back Tano. You probably maybe don't remember him because he was kind of just erased from everyone's memory after book 1, and they never included him again, but he was the pro bender with the curly hair who was kind of an asshole but also fabulous, and he lost his bending, and then we assumed that he got it back at the end of that book, and then we just never saw him again until the last 2 episodes when he came up twice and he was playing the saxophone, and I just lost it because he was my favorite character. And I thought they forgot about him, but they didn't. Comment hashtag Team Tano if you also love and remember him, because he was my favorite. Yeah, okay, I'm actually gonna go now. Bye.